Jake and Nog fight over their living quarters. Quark and Odo fight over a jacket. And no one gets killed in the Vulcan Love Slave. But it's a hell of a read. Hey, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. Today, we're doing a review of Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 9, The Ascent, written by Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolf, good friends of ours, directed by Alan Croker. I'd love to know more about him. And it is a Nog episode, special guest, Malissa Longo, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Yay.
Alan Croker. I don't know if I remember him, but hopefully you do, Cirroc. We also want to give a very quick shout out to a good friend of ours. Hopefully we remember how to pronounce the last name. Delphine Ngirumpatse. I think that's how it's Ngirumpatse.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
A good friend of ours up in Toronto, possibly. We were talking about you the other day. We love you and miss you. Can't wait to see you at the next round table. And thanks for showing up at the live chats. One of the coolest ladies ever. And we love her.
Yes, absolutely. We do love her.
Okay. Now,
very good on the pronunciation too, by the way, Ryan. You get an
who
A
knows?
for that one.
Who knows?
at least that's what I'm guessing.
Only Delphine really knows, but thank you.
That's true.
She's so nice to us. She'll be like, "That's fine, good enough." Bless
That's
your
fine. That'll do. That'll do.
Yeah, that's enough.
That'll
Move
do.
on. Also, we do want to remind you guys that if you enjoy our show and you'd like to support, please feel free to go to patreon.com/the7th rule, become part of the team. All kinds of really cool benefits and goodies that come with that. You can support with just $1 if you'd like, or many dollars. That's the 7th rule on Patreon, patreon.com/the7th rule. Also, the easiest and freest way to support is please give this video or audio file, what is it called? A like or 5-star review. Do comments in the comment section below. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. And let's talk about this episode.
Let's do it. Jake and Nog back in business.
Woohoo.
Man.
Yeah.
That was
And
so
wonderfully.
Like with fireworks right away.
Mm-hmm. You know, I remembered this episode and I knew which one it was. And still, when they came together, it just gave me such a big smile, even though I knew it and I expected it. And it's one of those very memorable episodes that kind of just stay with you forever. But like, still, when they got together, when we get together, we have nothing but fun. Right? You guys were opposites attract.
Yeah, there's a natural chemistry that happens between us. I don't know how to explain it, but it actually happens in person too when we get together at conventions or wherever we are. Whenever we get together, for some reason, there's this natural kind of energy, this flow, this synergy between us where we make the perfect odd couple.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it true, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. There's this special kind of energy there that's unique. It's and instant.
Yeah, it's always like I don't know, maybe like two brothers fighting, or always always trying to one up each other or pull each other's card or out them for something. It's like a friendly rivalry. I don't know. There's just this way that we go and communicate with each other it's similar to how what you see here in this episode, which they did a great job of showing. Odo and Quark also have this kind of thing where they just go right into their routine, and it's like, it's like Abbott and Costello. It's just they're going to do that.
Their routine. I love it.
Yeah, they go into their routine. It's like, oh, I hate you, and I hate you too, and oh God, I can't wait to bust you, and I got away with everything. It's just, it's going to be there, and it's really heartwarming, and it also shows to me a level of genuine friendship that I don't think that you can't just write on the script. It has to come through between the two actors. They actually have to have this kind of feelings about each other, or ability to relate those feelings. So there has to be some chemistry between the two people in order for this to be pulled off the way it does, the way it is with Quark and Odo, and obviously with Jake and Nog.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jake and Nog did get back together again, it was, for me, when it hit me right away, it was more, it was not just about the chemistry between you two, but on top of that, I was hit with a wave of nostalgia. Like, it hasn't been that long, but it was like, the good old days, because we'd seen Jake and Nog together, those on Paradise Lost, when you go down to Earth and we see Nog, but that was different. That was, that wasn't really what the storyline was about. You guys were bumping into each other. Plus there was the visitor. You guys have definitely had some moments over the last season or two, but this was Jake and Nog back on the station, rooming together as buddies. There was a certain nostalgia that brought me all the way back to like the first season, when you guys are having hijinks and going to class together. And it was really nice to see. It just made me smile immediately.
Yeah, it's like they're back home together in the place where they grew up, and it's such a nice, natural progression of how they've grown. It feels so honest, authentic.
Yeah, there was a certain element of that for me, that feeling of reminding me of my own days of moving out of the house when you first get your own place. We all have gone through that, where you get your first place, you may have a roommate, or you just move out to college, you're living on campus maybe, but it's that change of environment that we all go through when we're moving out of the nest and kind of spreading our wings and trying to find our own identity in life. And that a little element of that was brought up for me as well, and also the kind of camaraderie that you have with friends that known you for a long time. Like that's my friend from elementary or junior high school or whatever it is, and there's this bond that you have that you feel like you're in this together. Let's get a place together. Let's do this. Let's go out drinking together. Let's go to a nightclub. Let's do that. And so you're attacking your young adulthood, feeling like you have somebody in your corner,
partner in crime. Yeah. Okay, Cirroc.
Yeah.
When you had your first 2-person move out, were you the Jake or were you the Nog of the relationship? Were you the messy guy? Were you the ball buster?
I'm actually both. So that's the interesting thing. Sometimes when I get in a creative space, which is really interesting that they wrote it this way.
Yeah.
When I get into a creative mode and I'm writing or doing some project or really getting in a creative space, maybe making music, I get messy. I get really messy. Like papers are everywhere, and,
Yeah.
But it's like an organized mess. I know where everything is. Like I'm looking for this, and I know where it is.
We've all heard that before. I know where everything is.
Yeah.
Right. We've all heard that.
Yes, I get in that organized mess, but then I get in zones. Also, I get in these moods where I'm like, everything has to be, A1 spotless clean. So I start cleaning toilets and showers and, scraping floors and wiping, dusting TVs and doing all this stuff. And I get real anal about everything having to be clean at some moments. So I'm actually on both sides of the spectrum. So watching this episode was kind of funny for me because I could be a little bit like Nog when I want to be, but I'm also a lot like Jake when I want to be, depending on the mood I'm in.
Okay, we definitely have to ask this during the free-for-all if they're more Jake or more Nog. I think that's a great question right there.
It is a good question.
So we'll have to circle back to that because this is a good conversation and I don't want to lose it. So we'll definitely ask that a little later. Oh, real quick, just because I see this here, did you guys catch the reference of Fizbin? When Quark, when they're on the shuttlecraft, the runabout, and Quark says, "You want to play a game of Fizbin?" And I believe that was in the original series. There was that game. It was like a card game from A Piece of the Action, an episode where they go back to like some old 50s mobster planet or something like that. And they're playing this. And then Kirk was like, "Oh, you got to play Fizbin." Except on Tuesday, there's all these weird rules and it's ridiculous. And that's why it was funny when Quark says, "Oh, I'll teach you. It's a very simple game." That's for those of us nerds that know the reference. We're like, "Yeah, right. He just wants to hustle them."
Yeah, I was more looking at the Fizbin cards, and with the deck of cards being circular and having this weird writing on it. I was thinking, wow, I wish they gave us a close up on those cards so we could kind of see more detail about what language it is, or what's on those cards.
Great.
Did you draw them, Cirroc?
No, I didn't. I couldn't get a good look at it. They actually look like coffee coasters, or
Yeah, they do.
Now that's a marketing idea. Fizbin coffee coasters.
Or those things that you put in the eyeglass thing where they would spin around.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember
from when we
called.
were kids.
Yeah.
They were the 80s version of iPhones. Like, now I'm at Yosemite. Now I'm at Alaska.
Yeah.
Here's Disneyland.
No, it wasn't even an iPhone. It was like the Oculus. Those. It was like one of those VR headsets that they made now. But it was basic, so you actually had to put the photo in there. You didn't get a digital anything.
Right. Oh man.
Those were the good days.
Yeah, kids will never know the struggle.
Yeah. The struggles.
Okay. So, boy, there is a lot to let's keep it on the Jake and Nog for now, since there's a lot of Quark and Odo too. But I did find it interesting, and we know that this was not an accident, especially when Robert and Ira are involved in writing this thing and writing it exactly the two of them. It says it was deliberate that basically Jake and Nog switched roles from the early seasons, where Nog was the troublemaker and he was messy and he was hissing all over the place, and Jake was teaching him to read. And now not only is Nog super cleaned up and practically militant, but he's checking Jake's grammar and punctuation. It's like, oh, I didn't check it for content. I just, correcting your crap.
Yeah. I it too.
Yeah, I thought that was
switched roles. I was like,
completely.
Yeah.
I really like the way that Nog has kind of matured in his whole approach to life. Like I like the maturity. I like the growth that he's shown. And even though he's a little bit over the top with it and a little bit too much of a tightwad about it, I do like I like the fact that he has discipline in his life, and that he's set a goal for himself, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to achieve that goal, including, going to bed early, getting up early, working out, and being dedicated to his work. So I like the fact that he's set goals for himself. He's singularly focused on accomplishing that, and he's not letting anything get in his way or being sidetracked. I like that.
I agree too. Yeah, I love that it shows an evolution of where he's been and how far he's come. It's really nice to see that, especially.
Yeah, so much so that Rom is like, I don't even think that's my son.
That was sample from him. That gave me the biggest laugh. Actually, I laughed out loud, which I rarely do. Was when he said, "I think he's a changeling." That I forgot. That was funny.
I love that. So funny. It's
and
been
then he's
8 hours.
The file, he's like, it's been 8 hours.
So far, so good.
I love that. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can see him sneaking in the room at night when Nog's sleeping and stabbing him in the arm with his gun and digging his blood. so he doesn't know. I just thought that was hilarious that a father he thinks that his son has changed so much so that he doesn't even think that's his son anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought that was great.
And also, kudos to Aron, because I remember noticing this the first time I watched it, whenever that was in the late 90s. And I remember thinking, wow, Nog looks sharp. He looks fit, and the only other time I noticed that in a Star Trek episode was in The Next Generation when Ensign Ro comes back, after we saw her before, played by Michelle Forbes, and she's now Lieutenant Ro, and she's like walking kind of like statuesque, and we all, you can't help but notice, wow, she looks great. She looks fit, and I noticed it with Nog too. The first time I saw this, it really is believable. It looks like Starfleet Academy whipped him into shape, and this is a soldier. This is a guy that is ready to save the galaxy, and whenever his number is called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He did look like he looks really spiffy in that outfit. And it's hard to wear those little tight outfits because if you have any kind of bulges anywhere, they're going to show.
If.
And I mean anywhere.
Anywhere.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
No. We'll talk later.
Okay.
But I did want to say though, there were a few lines there that Nog said that I thought were classics. One when he tells Jake, "You wouldn't last a day in the academy." Like, he's
wow.
He's completely sunning him in that moment, right? He's like, you got no muscles. First of all, you need to work out because you don't have any muscles.
He's like, that stuff between your skin and bones. I've heard of it.
That was so funny.
And I was like, I was watching, I'm like, did he say that to me? This fucking guy has a lot of nerve. Calling out my muscle game.
My muscle game.
Well, and then your reaction to it was priceless. And you're like,
I'm like, wait a minute. I know I got muscles up in here. Let me sit up straighter.
There.
Do you remember straighter? Do you remember shooting that day? Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, I remember the episode. And I do remember the theme of us getting a place together and moving in together. That was a big thing for the both of us, right? Because it is like a monumental day for a kid's life to move on and to get his own place. I thought it was funny because in the beginning, Jake's got his bags, he's packing his stuff, and Sisko is like, hey, you sure you want to leave? And, why don't you stay? And Jake says, I found a place on the other side of the...
You can come visit, but you got to call first.
Yeah, you got to call first.
No drop-bys.
And I'm on the other side, so it'll take you a while to get there. I'm trying to get as far away from your supervision, right? Yeah. And then he says, yeah, I found a place in Section M, but I was thinking Section 8. And I'm like, they got Jake on Section 8? I mean, this is bad. Yes,
A+. That's hilarious. You're like, come on, man. You guys, read the room here, guys. Damn, Jake's doing bad. He got to sell some more books, man, because he's in Section 8 over there.
Especially in a place where currency really doesn't matter.
I know. You got to be doing real bad.
You got to be real bad. And he can't even do Section 8 on his own budget. He has to get a roommate to co-sign with him.
Section 4 and Section 4.
Yeah. We'll go 4 and 4 on this 8. But so I thought that was funny that he was kind of telling his dad, I'm trying to get as far away from you as possible, and I want to see you as little as possible. And I think at some point when kids are growing up, they go through this stage in their life where they're like, it's not cool to be around your parents for, there's like a non-cool stage where you're like, yeah, I can't be seen with my parents. I'm too cool for, I'm a teenager now, or I'm old enough to drive, or whatever that threshold that a kid thinks that he has met. I graduated high school now, whatever it is. that you think, it's time for me to be on my own. I don't need to see. I don't need to rely on you that much. You don't have to baby me that much. I don't need to see you that much. And there's a moment in all of our, I think most of our lives where we feel like, you're cramping my style, Dad. You're going to be cramping my style. I need to play Dom Jot and talk to Dabo girls.
Yeah.
You're in the way.
Dom Jot and Dabo girls. That's Jake and Nog's motto. They're like Dom Jot and Dabo girls.
Yeah. And you're in the way, Dad. I can't bring any of my Dabo girlfriends home because you're always sneaking around the corner and watching, and kicking my girls out.
Well, it's difficult to spread your wings when your parents are over your shoulders. So
yeah.
True.
You gotta learn how to fly on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now the reason I was asking about if you remembered any of those moments specifically with Aron was because when you were talking about that banter that Jake and Nog were having, when he's like, "Oh, check out those muscles or non-muscles or whatever," I feel like Aron just ate those lines. Like when he saw those lines, he probably thought, "Oh, I can't wait to say these to Cirroc." Like he was just like, "Oh man, oh boy, look at these." And he was like, I can just imagine that he was really looking forward to saying those lines to you.
Yes. I got the same feeling, as a matter of fact, while I was watching it. I was saying he's getting way too much pleasure and joy out of ridiculing and clowning me out. There's one moment where he says, "You couldn't fold a shirt. You couldn't fold a shirt if your life depended on it."
Right.
And I felt like that's, I was like, is this Aron or is this not? I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he definitely gets, he got a little extra worked up for the insults that he likes to berate on his best friend.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good at the razzing.
He's great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great at razzing. Aron is gifted at razzing. He's gifted at telling jokes. Mm-hmm. He's really good at sarcasm. Mm-hmm. So, he's actually really a comedian deep down inside. Like he has extremely great comedic timing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, without the script, without anything, just his natural self. He's naturally gifted at comedic timing and when to tell jokes and what buttons to push in order to get a response out of somebody.
When to tell jokes, as in whenever. He's like, if there's a joke, I'm taking it.
No wrong time.
Exactly.
This is the moment.
I got that totally from him, and I thought it was funny when Rom is having a moment with Sisko, and they're both basically saying, "I wish my kid was more like your kid."
Oh, that was great.
Oh, I love that moment.
I thought it was special, right? It was like, they can learn from each other. And it was actually finally a moment in which the parents realized, because remember, they were completely opposed to us even being friends in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to hang out with that guy. I don't want you to hang out with him. He's a bad influence. So originally they were opposed to us, but now you can see that as we've grown up, the parents now see the value in our friendship and see how much they can, how much we get out of it, and even they get out of it. So I think the bad influence turned into a good influence at some point, where we were both bad influences on each other. At some point, we became good influences on each other after we cycled through the bad stuff.
Well, we do have to run to a commercial real quick, and we'll finish up with Jake and Nog. We'll talk all about the other Jake and Nog, Odo and Quark, who were equally hilarious and adorable and lovable. Boy, they were great. So we'll take a super quick break on the 7th rule, and we'll be right back.